Hello and welcome everyone to Ed Slott's live virtual book launch party for his highly anticipated book, The New Retirement Savings Time Bomb. I'm Ed's publicist, Jill Schlesinger, and we're so excited for tonight. We have lots planned for the evening, including trivia, giveaways, and an author Q&A with the man himself, Ed Slott. But first, to kick things off, I'd like to bring on Lauren Levine, managing partner of Ed Slott and Company, and Bob Marty, the producer of Ed's public television specials. Lauren?
Hi, welcome everyone. This is such an exciting time for us. I want to say a very special welcome to members of Ed Slott's Elite IRA Advisor Group, members of the media who have joined us, the public, consumers who are with us, our industry friends who are with us. This is the start of such an exciting week. So much is going on at one time. Ed is doing interviews. He's getting ready for our programs. He is out on public television throughout the country and the book. And I just want to share something with you. I've had the opportunity to work with Ed I'm going into my 26th year. And there are a few things that have been of major importance to Ed. One, of course, is matching consumers with competent advisors and then providing programs to do that, be it public television or this book. Now, years ago, Ed had the Retirement Savings Time Bomb, and probably for the last 5 or 6 years, he spoke about revising. And one thing always happened, and one thing led to another, and it got put off, and it got put off, and it got put off. And they always say everything happens for a reason. Well, the reason is that now is the time. There was so much that needed to be revised that it became a brand new book. And this book truly has been a labor of love. He has worked so hard. Along with our team, this book has been checked and rechecked and written and rewritten, and it is absolutely at its perfect place right now for you. And over the years, we have had the amazing opportunity to work with the be-all and end-all in public television. And that, of course, is our producer, Bob Marty. And I'd love for him to share what his experience has been like working with Ed. There are lots of trivia questions, and I believe that the slot solution for 21 is going to be a gift for the trivia. So Bob, if you could share with us your relationship with Ed, we would absolutely love it. And thanks for being here.
So I'm Bob Marty. I produce a lot of PBS specials with all kinds of folks like Ken Burns or Henry Louis Gates Jr. or Victor Borga. Tom Hanks has hosted stuff, whatever, a lot of different people. But I retired in 2001 and I was happily ensconced on my farm with my new wife, and a person called named Lauren Levine and said, there's this guy I need you to meet. I really want you to meet. I know that you're retired. I know that you're not really making these TV shows anymore for PBS or public television, but would you please just have a cup of coffee with Ed and I? Well, I did in New York City. And I said, well, you seem like nice people. That's nice, but I don't really do this anymore. I'm retired. I don't do this anymore. And they said, well, could you just come see a seminar? And very kindly and very generously, they offered to give me a plane ticket. And I said, I can't take a plane ticket because then I'll owe you something. I'll fly myself to Florida and watch this seminar. Well, I was watching the seminar and, you know, you're kind of there doing a thing. And I was like, well, wait a second. What did he just say? And wait a second. What did he just say? And my financial advisors were Goldman Sachs. So I called them up the next day and I said, I just saw this guy, Ed Slott, and he said this. Oh, well, we don't really know about that. Oh, and he said this other thing. Oh, we don't know about that. And then I asked him one last thing. I said, well, he said this. And he said, my guy at Goldman Sachs said, you know, maybe we should have Ed come talk to us at Goldman Sachs so we can know more about what he's doing. Well, that was the beginning now of a 14-year relationship. Lauren and Ed took me out of retirement. And boy, it's been a roller coaster ride. It's been like a rocket ship. And Ed is one of the most successful public television author experts is what we like to call them. And he has brought to millions, tens of millions of people, his message that I like to think about of it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep, right? So that taxes are involved in all sorts of our world. And then just one other little piece of it is that in the very beginning, I met Ed and I was like, I'm blown away. This guy's amazing. We gotta do something with him. And my friends in public television went, wait a second, you want to do a show about death and taxes, Bob? Like, what are you talking about? And I said, well, it's about a lot more than that. And our people are gonna. So anyway, it was so successful. For 3 years, it was the #1 show on PBS stations around the country, and it continues to make huge box office. We judge that by membership, and I think it's fundamental to Ed is his knowledge of the tax code, but more importantly for me is how he delivers it, is how he brings his inclusive, kind, funny, informed lecture to public television. So it's truly an incredible experience. Lauren, you probably know better than I of how many shows we've done, 8, 10, a whole lot.
A lot of shows, a lot of years, and we brought in a nice amount of money for public television.
Yeah, I mean, believe it or not, we sort of lost count, which is like, Ed's a CPA, so we shouldn't have lost count. But we have brought in about $65 million to PBS stations in the last bunch of years, which is truly astonishing.
And the show is now airing throughout the country. This is
it's all over the country for the March pledge drive. Please support your local PBS station with a call to support. But one other thing, just from a personal note, that Ed was talking, when I met Ed and Lauren, I didn't have any children. And that when I met Ed, he was talking about the Roth IRA. Well, both my boys, now 8 and 10, each have a Roth IRA that will set them up for their retirement in about 50-something years. So I take Ed's advice not only professionally, as far as I'm so honored to work with him, and but then also personally. And I could recommend this book and his wisdom to every person watching, every person out there.
Bob, your children will thank Uncle Ed one day. Could you just share quickly what's in the Slott solution for 2021?
Everything. I mean, so everything you need. So sometimes we try to enumerate exactly what's in things. The book is in the Slott solution, the new book, the new retirement savings time bomb. But in addition to that, there's like an incredible online masterclass with Ed that has tax updates, that has audio about like how to check your advisor checkup to make sure you're with somebody who actually can help you. It's got updates. The beautiful thing about it is it literally has everything you need to get your plan, not the government plan, as Ed would say, because you don't want the government plan, because their plan for you is not going to make you happy or your family happy. So it has a whole collection, the program DVD. I'm just looking off onto my computer now. Ask Ed Slott, additional ebooks about Fund Your Future and Retirement Decisions Guide, an incredible program guide that Ed has labored long and hard on to make it easy to use. So that's the magic about Ed. He's done the work so you don't have to. It's just a great idea. And the one thing I like more than anything else, and then I'll be quiet because I'm going to be getting a signal pretty soon, shut up, is more money for you now, more money for your family, and more of it tax-free. So that's Ed Slott, more.
Thank you so much, Bob. Thanks for being with us. I'm going to toss it back to Jill and we'll go forward.
Thank you so much, Lauren and Bob. Now, I promise Ed's coming, everybody. He's going to be here in just a moment, but I do want to go over some important information, like if you haven't already, how you can get your copy of the new retirement savings time bomb. You want to head to irahelp.com/time bomb. Here, you'll find all the retailer links available to choose your preferred vendor. For those advisors joining us tonight, There are also options that make it easy to place bulk orders here too. We also have a limited time offer for this week only. Once you order your book, submit your order number here to receive a special 20-minute mini course from Ed on rollovers. Again, the special offer is for this week only, and it does expire Sunday, March 7th. We want to encourage everyone to get active on social media during tonight's event. So while you're posting, be sure to use the hashtag #EdSlottBookLaunch. And also be sure to tag Ed in your post on Twitter by tagging the Slott Report. And you can also tag our special media guest tonight, Jill Schlesinger, by tagging Jill on Money on Twitter. All right, now let's get to our first trivia question. Everyone get your fingers ready on that keyboard. Here's how you can participate. You see that chat feature on the right side of your screen. Enter your answer right there, and the first right answer will win the Slott Solution 2021 gift package that Bob was just discussing. If you want to take a moment now to test out the feature, go ahead. Just be sure to include your full name so that we'll be able to easily identify the winner for each question. And be sure to stay tuned until the end of the show, because that's when we'll announce all of the trivia winners and how you can claim your prize. All right, so here's the first trivia question. What does IRA stand for? Again, that's what does IRA stand for? So for anyone wondering how you can connect with Ed Slott and Company to receive the latest breaking news on retirement and tax planning laws and strategies, here's how. Visit IRAhelp.com/IRA updates to sign up for monthly IRA updates, and you can also read the Slott Report blog. You can also follow Ed on all major social media platforms, including Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. All right, now we're going to move on to our second trivia question. Hopefully you already got your answers in for the first one. Again, just remember to put your answer in the chat feature on the right side of your screen, and the first correct answer will win. Be sure to stay tuned again till the end of the show, and that's when we'll announce our lucky winners. Okay, so your second trivia question. If you are age 50 or older, how much can you contribute to an IRA in 2021? Again, that's if you are age 50 or older, how much can you contribute to an IRA in 2021? Just one more quick reminder, that Slott Solution for 2021, it's the complete gift package offered on Ed Slott's public television program, Retire Safe and Secure with Ed Slott, and it's full of useful resources and information, including Ed's new book. All right, now it's time to hear from the man himself, Ed Slott. Ed's going to join us with our special media guest tonight, Jill Schlesinger, for an author Q&A. Jill's a CFP, an Emmy-nominated and Gracie Award-winning business analyst for CBS News. She appears on CBS radio and television stations nationwide, covering the economy, markets, investing, and really anything with a dollar sign. She's the host of the Jill on Money podcast and nationally syndicated radio show, which won the 2018 Gracie Award for Best National Talk Show. And you may have even heard her interviews with Ed in recent years. And if so, you know how great the banter is between these two. We're so excited to welcome Jill tonight. And with that, I'll hand it over to her and Ed.
All right.
Well,
this is so
thanks, Jill.
exciting.
Thanks, both Jills. Double Jill.
Hey, Ed, how are you?
Good. Great to be here. And thanks for hosting this program.
I'm a mere bit player to you. As always, you are the star. And now if you're watching this, what you don't realize is that Ed and I adore each other because we're the only two people on earth who can make retirement planning and tax planning fun, enjoyable, funny, and actionable. And I really began my experience with Ed in my first interview. And I said to my producer, Mark, this guy's fantastic. He is so excited about a Roth IRA. I've never met anyone who is more excited about a Roth IRA. So, let's get into this, Ed, and talk a little bit about the book. You were on the podcast recently, and we gave you a little short shrift because we were talking about so much other stuff going on in the world of taxes. What exactly is this tax time bomb that you are describing?
Well, it's easy. It's the tax building up in your IRAs and 401ks. Remember, that money has not yet been taxed. So all the years you were putting away in IRAs and 401k, that's tax deferred, not tax free. That's the point of the book, to move it from, I like to say, from accounts that are forever taxed to accounts that are never taxed. And as Bob said, and I agree, I love tax free. It's one of my always rules. Tax free is always better. Forever taxed to never taxed. The thing is, There are new and even more severe threats to your retirement savings. Thanks, Congress, for creating the Secure Act, which is great. Whenever they name a tax law, you can almost always bet that whatever the name is, it does exactly the opposite. So when they hit the Secure Act, lots of your retirement savings, especially if you have lots of savings in IRAs and 401ks, are at high risk of the uncertainty of what future higher taxes can do to your standard of living in retirement. When it comes to retirement, it's not how much you have, it's how much of that you can keep after taxes. And I lay out a 5-step plan, very easy, clearly explained, to get you from forever tax to never tax.
You know, Ed, I remember you came on the show right after the Secure Act had passed, and we had so many questions. And for a while, your podcast episode was the most popular and most downloaded podcast when that Secure Act episode came out. I want you to talk a little bit about the idea of what happened with the stretch IRA because of the Secure Act and how that changed planning for a lot of people. It seemed to get everyone really freaked out because it was different. It was a way to go back and say, wait, all that planning you did about under one set of rules, we're changing those rules. So can you describe that stretch IRA?
Yeah, they pulled the rug out from under people that had planned for 20 or 30 years. Even the Wall Street Journal, that was very big on a lot of parts of the law, did not like this section, the ending of the stretch IRA. So what was the stretch IRA? First of all, it's not even a real thing. It's just the name they give it. I remember a client years ago when I was explaining it to him, he called me, says, Ed, I'm at the bank. You said get a stretch IRA. They don't have them. No, it's not a product. It's a process. It was the ability to name a beneficiary, a younger beneficiary like your children or grandchildren, and they could stretch or extend distributions out over their life expectancy, 20, 30, 50, 70 years even, depending on the age. Well, Congress felt that was too good. Why did they feel that way? Because they needed money. And they do what they always do when Congress needs money. They raid your retirement savings. They change the tax rules. There's an old CPA saying, tax laws are written in pencil. So you really can't rely long term. So they made the IRA for retirement. That's what Congress felt. IRAs are for retirement, not to pass wealth on to your children and grandchildren. They eliminated the stretch, that long deferral, so it could build up over all those years, snowballing and compounding for your family. And now they've limited it to for most beneficiaries, except the spouse, to 10 years after death. So all the planning changes.
And it's interesting because obviously the Secure Act's passage is one aspect of a change that you had to incorporate into this current edition. Is there anything else that you can highlight that is in this book that, without giving it away? Because you know what? Remember, we're trying to sell books, and so don't give too much away.
I mean,
all right. So give us a little something. Give us a taste, a tease, as we say.
Yeah, you have the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. I'm a big Roth fan, but that made Roth conversions permanent. If you remember when we were on your show, Jill, we said, oh, do the Roth conversion, then go back, and then go forward, and then go back. And all this tax planning that you can't do. So you better make sure you've got the Roth done correctly the first time. There's no backseas, no do-overs. Then we had all the stuff with the CARES Act. Most of that ended in 2020, but it put a monkey wrench in planning for certain items. And then you had the Secure Act. Then you had a whole bunch of IRA rulings from IRS and in tax court cases. There's a lot of stuff under the radar that you don't see. So the book is stuffed with them, and it's unbelievable. Normally, you put out a book like this, a tax book. It's got it could take you years to put together, which it did. I mean, it's over 400 pages of dense material, but fun too. It takes years to put this out, and most of these books, as you know, Jill, have a shelf life of about 3 hours once they're out. Right now, this may be the only book on this that's absolutely current, right up to date, everything you need to know at this minute, and will probably stand the test of time unless Congress comes around again, and then we'll find more solutions. But right now, this is the way to have more, keep more, and make it last. And that's the theme of the book, to keep more of your hard-earned money.
So when you look at this tax time bomb, let's in a little hat tip to you too. How do we dismantle this bomb? What are some of the steps that we can take?
Well, the secret to the book is getting rid of the problem. The problem, believe it or not, is building an IRA or a 401k that's building partly for your Uncle Sam. And he's not even your real uncle. That's a mistake. So you want to bring that balance down over time, maybe a series of Roth conversions. I even talk about other solutions like using permanent life insurance. And I don't even sell life insurance. I'm a tax advisor. This book is about creating solutions to make sure you keep more of your hard-earned money. Move, like I always say, from forever tax to never tax. And as Bob said, one of my lines, you want your plan, not the government plan. So people always ask me, Ed, what do you mean? What's the government plan? That's doing nothing and letting it happen to you. That's the government plan. You think that's a good plan? Guess who your biggest beneficiary will be then? Yep, back to Uncle Sam. I want you to keep more of your money, and anyone can do it. The steps in here are so simple. You've seen the way I write. You've looked at a lot of my stuff, and you can follow it. You can dig in wherever you want. It covers everything for every possible situation.
I remember, Ed, I once spoke to you and I gave you a scenario of a very high wage earning friend of mine. And she had the opportunity to participate in a Roth 401k through work. And she made so much money, there was no way she would be able to do so. And your answer was, sort of interesting, because you said to me, look, even though she's in a high tax bracket, we may never see tax rates this low ever again. And I'm wondering if you still, given everything, we're going to see that there'll be $6 trillion of spending over the course of 13 or 14 months in this country. And where do we think tax rates are going now, right?
Up. I mean, here, don't take it from me. Take it from one of the greatest comedians of all time, Henny Youngman. He thought it was funny, but he was right. He said, I'm putting all my money in taxes. The only thing sure to go up. He was right. This is the whole point. You want to move to from forever tax to never tax, whether it's Roth or some of the other strategies I give you, to make sure you don't put your money at risk of the uncertainty of what future higher taxes can do to your standard of living in retirement. You don't want to wake up in retirement and rates are back up to 40, 50%. That means you only have half as much as you thought you had.
Okay, last question. There's 10 million people out of work right now because of the pandemic, but there's also a lot of people, we've been hearing from a ton of them on the podcast, a lot of healthcare workers who are fried, a lot of teachers who are fried, and they are considering retirement right now. And they may be young. I mean, relatively speaking, they're 55, they're 60, and they're just tired. They're ready to retire. What advice can you give someone who is maybe considering the idea of retirement? Maybe it was forced on them, but maybe they have a choice. What should they be thinking about at this time?
Well, this is a point where you want to get advice, not from all this free stuff online. This is what I mean. You may have one chance to get this right. In several places of the book, most financial advisors, I mentioned this in the book, do not have this knowledge. They may help you make money, but when it comes to taxes and IRAs, it's how much you keep that counts. So over the last almost 20 years, I've created a group called Ed Slott's Elite IRA Advisor Group. These are advisors that train in these tax rules, in the distribution planning, getting the money out, doing rollovers, getting this kind of advice. So that would be a place where I would go to make sure you have an advisor that can give you the right answer the first time. These advisors train continuously. Many of them have been in the group for more than 10 years. It's an education group. They attend workshops, seminars, virtual. And the best part is they have access to me and my team of fantastic IRA experts to get answers to questions, because these rules, these tax rules, I make them nice and easy in the book, but they're still complex. And the problem is most of them are very rigid and unforgiving. You don't get a lot of second chances. So you need to know if you're making a move, say rolling it over from, you talked about the healthcare workers and the teachers. They have the 403B. Should they roll to an IRA? Should they keep it in a plan? Should they convert to a Roth? There's a lot of options, and you need to work with an advisor. You have one chance that has the knowledge to give you the benefits and drawbacks of each option so you can make the right decision the first time. You can save a fortune in good tax planning. And that's exactly what this book does for anybody who has any savings in a retirement account.
I want to just finish by saying that although not everybody has access to you like I do, I am so grateful for what you have done for me and for my show and been a very generous resource to us. And you've shared your wealth of knowledge, and we've had a bunch of good laughs as a result. And I so appreciate it. So thanks for bringing me into the world of Ed Slott. And I am so happy for you. I wish you great mazel tov on your success here with this book. And now I'm going to send it back to the OG Jill J, who will give away more free stuff. And who doesn't like free stuff? Thank you so much.
Well, thanks,
Oh,
Jill. Back at you on everything you said. I appreciate it. Thanks for being
Yeah.
here on this special
Sure.
night.
Yes, thank you so much, Jill. I encourage everyone to check out Jill's show, Jill on Money. You can listen on all major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And you can also check out her website, jillonmoney.com. If you haven't already, be sure to follow her on Twitter at jillonmoney. All right, now who's ready for the third trivia question? Let's get to it. A reminder to simply just drop your answer into the chat box shown on YouTube. And the first correct answer will win the complete gift package offered on Ed Slott's public television program, Retire Safe and Secure with Ed Slott. All right, so here's the question. What age are you required to start taking distributions from your traditional IRAs? Enter your answer now and stay tuned for winners to be announced in just a few minutes at the end of our show. Now, for those of you who don't know, Ed's first version of this book was released in 2003, and it was a popular bestseller. But like you heard with his chat with Jill, a lot has changed since then when it comes to protecting your retirement savings from taxes. So I'd like to bring Ed on back along with Lauren to provide additional insight on all the updates the new version has and why now more than ever before it's crucial that you work with an educated financial advisor. Ed?
Yes, that's true. And that's where I mentioned our study group, our educational group, Ed Slott's Elite IRA Advisor. They're all over the country. So you just go to our website and look for Find an Advisor. In fact, many of them are tuning into this program right now. See, again, you only have one chance to get this right. And so much has changed. Now, it's all covered in the book, but this is not do-it-yourself stuff. The book is a great guide. It'll educate you and empower you. But I still think you need professional help here. This may be your life savings. Who can benefit from this? Anybody who has saved in an IRA, a 401k, a 403b, a 457, considering a Roth IRA, has rollover decisions. Should I name a trust as a beneficiary? What if I need money early? I've got everything covered here. But I suggest you get good guidance from a financial advisor that is trained in this area. You agree, Lauren?
Absolutely. And you know, over the years, I've had the opportunity to be on site with Ed, and I'm here when the calls come in from people who have had the opportunity to work with a well-trained advisor, people who have been able to save everything they've worked so hard for. And the thank yous, that's what keeps Ed going. And you know, your interview with Jill was so pleasant and so easy to listen to. And it goes back to the fact that, Ed, you are one of the few people out there that has this, you have this amazing relationship with consumers, advisors, and the media, because you always have the information that people are looking for. The bottom line is, Ed, you care so deeply about what you do. And I think it shows in everything you do. And the consumer benefits and the advisors who train with us. I mean, whatever you do is first class, because that's what and who you are, Ed. And this book is certainly no exception to that.
Yeah, a lot went into this. I feel like this is your life, that show, but this is not the end. This is the beginning. We're still going strong. The laws are constantly changing. They're in flux. Look, they're negotiating a stimulus bill now. So that's one of the things we do with our elite group. This is where you want an advisor that's constantly up to date, because something can change. And the worst thing is when you make a mistake with your retirement account, rollover mistakes are some of the biggest ones. you could lose your entire IRA. It could be all taxed just by moving it the wrong way. And all you thought you were doing is a rollover, but maybe you did it the wrong way or the timing was off. Timing is everything here. There's so much to know, but I've got you covered on every aspect of this. The point is to get informed, get educated, and get empowered to make the right moves. There's no question the strategies and tactics I cover in this book, I make the tax law work for you instead of against you. So you can have more, keep more, and make it last. There's no question this book can save anyone a fortune in taxes by applying these strategies. But we want more in your accounts, not for Uncle Sam.
Ed, do you remember the days when we used to go to live seminars and consumers come and they would have the book highlighted and the pages
Oh yeah, with
folded
the
over?
Postit Notes.
And
Yeah.
the truth is that those consumers knew more than the average advisor who hadn't taken any training.
Speaking of Postit Notes, Lauren, here, I just happen to have, this is my own version. This is just one book of the US tax code. This is my copy. These are mostly the retirement related rules. Would you say it's been well worn? And this is a current copy. This one's only a few months old. So, you know, we dig in on this, but we turn this into this, something that's very easy to understand and profit from.
That's right. That's what makes you extra special, is the fact that you take that very complex, dense information and you break it down into language that people can understand. And I think that's what people really appreciate about everything that you do.
Right. Well, I don't know, Jill, what happens now?
I'll take it from here. Don't
Okay.
worry. Thank you, Ed and Lauren. We
Thank
are
you.
going to announce our trivia award
Oh,
winners
okay.
now.
I knew that was coming. I didn't want
Right?
the winners. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
No
everyone's
way.
waiting for. All right. So our first trivia question, which was, what does IRA stand for? Our
That's a
winner is
good question.
Glenda. Yeah, it is a good question. And we have a winner, Glenda Larson. So this may surprise you. The answer is individual retirement arrangement.
Right.
So that may have stumped a few people out there, but congratulations to Glenda. And our second trivia question, as a reminder, that one was, if you are age 50 or older, how much can you contribute to an IRA in 2021? And our winner for that one is Alan Barber. Congratulations, Alan. You had the correct answer of $7,000. And our final third trivia question, at what age are you required to start taking distributions from your traditional IRAs? The winner for that one was Mickey McGee. So Mickey, you had the first right answer, which is 72, now that the Secure Act is in effect. So Glenda, Alan, and Mickey, please make sure to send your mailing address to info@irahelp.com. That's info@irahelp.com, and we'll be sure to get you your prize. As we wrap up,
the book.
it does include the book, you're right.
And the book.
Yeah, so make sure you guys get those contact emails in. All right, and as we wrap up for the evening, just a few more reminders and resources for you. To connect with Ed Slott and Company and receive the latest breaking news on retirement tax planning laws and strategies, you can visit irahelp.com/updates to sign up for the monthly IRA updates. And you can also check out the Slott Report blog. And we also certainly encourage you to follow Ed on all social media platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. And finally, be sure to take advantage of this week's offer for the bonus 20-minute mini course on rollover decisions with Ed. And remember to purchase a copy of the book from your preferred retailer, then enter the book order number into the form on irahelp.com/time bomb to receive the free video by Sunday, March 7th. And I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight to celebrate Ed and his book and for making this the #1 new release in retirement planning. Congratulations, Ed. That's so great.
That's great. That means more people are going to keep more of their retirement savings. That's what it means.
Yes, exactly. And we also want to give a special thank you to Jill Schlesinger and Bob Marty for joining us tonight. And a big thank you to everyone on Ed's team who helped make this party happen. And of course, again, a congratulations to Ed on your new book. I know how much hard work you put into this, Ed, and it really has turned out great.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Great job, Jill. Thank you.
You're welcome. The recording of tonight's party, just so everyone knows, will be available at irahelp.com/launch party. Please feel free to share that with anyone who was unable to attend. Thanks again, everyone, and have a wonderful rest of your evening.
Thanks, everyone.
Night.
Okay, very nice. I think we're still on, but I think that's it.